For whom do you work? Well, that's the most important question to answer every single day as you start your work. You don't work for yourself. You don't work for your boss. The verse that you memorized, Colossians 3:23 and 24, tells us, whatever you do, do your work heartily, as for the Lord rather than men. It is the Lord Christ whom you serve. Wow, you actually work for Jesus Christ. And when you recognize that, it changes everything in your job. I know. It did in my work when I was in real estate. Because I wanted to please my real boss, the Lord, my attitude improved, I became more diligent, my job performance was much better. I began to view my job not only as a means of producing an income, but as a platform in which I could influence others for Christ as I prayed for them, I cared for my fellow workers and my customers, and my work completely morphed from a place of drudgery to one of excitement. Now, Kyle, tell us about this week's Let's Get Practical section.
Well, the first item is to calculate your net worth. Simply subtract your total debts from your total assets to determine your net worth. And we encourage you to do this the first of the year, every year, to gauge your financial progress. I have a question for you. Last week, when you completed your spending plan, did you discover there was too much month at the end of the money? Well, for many of us, we're spending more than we're earning. That's why it's so important to track and tweak your spending plan. Remember the bottom line. You want to have more income than spending. It's that simple. Now, we've learned it's helpful for you to compare the percentage of your income that you're spending for items to recommended percentages that work for thousands of people. If you discover that you're spending more than the recommended amount, that's an indicator that you might have to reduce spending in that area. We've also learned if you use the simple tweak sheet each month, it'll be a reminder to try to continue to increase income and reduce your spending. So let's take a look at tracking your spending plan. You can use pencil and paper to complete this, or you can download the free electronic spending plan from Compass that'll do all the calculations for you. Now, there are 4 easy steps to take. First, from your estimated spending plan, fill in the monthly estimated amount for each category. Second, simply record your income and spending during the month. It'll take only a couple of minutes if it's part of your daily routine. Then third, at the end of the month, total each category and subtract it from the estimated amount to find out if you have a surplus or a deficit. Now, the last step is to find out how you're doing year to date by filling out the 3 boxes at the bottom of the page. If you're using pencil and paper, you'll probably need to do it a couple of times to get the hang of it. Now, let's hear from someone who has benefited from using a spending plan.
The most helpful thing that I learned from the study was the work ethics, as well as debt, honesty, putting a budget together, something that I hadn't done, hadn't thought about doing, something my husband and I worked very hard at. It's a work in progress, the budget. It was challenging because we never really sat down and looked at all of the different bills that we had and what needed to be paid and who we were paying and the interest rate. You kind of had some kind of idea, but you didn't totally understand what was coming in and going out. I have been an impulsive spender, and in doing the study I have learned and have gotten convicted many times of purchasing items that didn't necessarily need but I wanted. So you have to look back and really, decide, is that something you need, something you want? It's difficult to do that when you're so used to just spending your money, or what you say is your money, but you realize that it's God's money and you need to ask Him, is this the right thing to do?
Now that I get to stay home and I see that Doug doesn't really stress about working extra or making ends meet, that he is really happy that he can go to work and come home and spend time with us, and that I don't have to worry about him stressing, it makes our time together so much fun because we're really in the moment. We're able to just sit on the floor for an hour or two with our daughter. We're able just to go to the park. He even talks about sometimes like working less hours And that's a realistic thing for us to be able to do. And we're still able to give and give on top of what we thought we would be able to give. I mean, I can shop. I don't feel guilty about going out and shopping. That is freeing. I mean, there's so many things I want to get for my daughter, bows for her hair, dress, so it's nice that we don't have the debt, and we can still have a nice lifestyle and give back to God some of what He's given to us.
That's good. And remember why you're using a spending plan. It's the best tool to help you stay on top of your finances so that you can make real progress in getting out of debt, in saving, and in giving on your journey to true financial freedom.